All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay. The headlines. Monsoon session of Parliament begins today. Triple Talaq Bill and Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill giving constitutional status to National Commission for Backward Classes high on government's agenda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks cooperation from all political parties to make the session productive. Election Commission rejects AAP MLA's plea to cross-examine petitioner in Office of Profit case. Jammu and Kashmir government abolishes interviews for all Class 4 jobs. Indian Embassy urges Indian nationals to take advantage of 3 months amnesty window to legalize their status or leave UAE without prosecution. And in cricket, England clinches 3-match series 2-1, beating India by 8 wickets in the final ODI at Leeds. Monsoon session of Parliament will begin today. Government has listed a substantive legislative business for the session. This includes 48 items, including 46 bills and 2 financial matters. The bills prioritized by the government include the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill or the Anti-Instant Triple Talaq Bill and the Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill that gives constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes. 6 bills replacing ordinances promulgated in the inter-session period are high on government's agenda. More from a correspondent.
On the first day today, both the houses will pay tributes to its former members who passed away after the budget session. During the session, Triple Talaq Bill, which has been passed by the Lok Sabha and is pending in the Rajya Sabha, will be among the top priorities of the government to get it passed. The Trafficking of Persons Prevention, Protection and Rehabilitation Bill, the Banning of Unregulated Depositor Schemes Bill, the Airports Economic Regulatory Authority of India Amendment Bill and the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill are scheduled to be introduced in the Lok Sabha today. While in the upper house, the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Second Amendment Bill and the Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill will be taken up for consideration and passage, and the National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disabilities Amendment Bill are scheduled to be introduced. With Dipendra Kumar, Tripti Srivastav, AIR News, Delhi.
There were hectic parleys between the government and the opposition on the eve of the monsoon session yesterday. While the opposition brought up issues that it wants to highlight in the session, the government assured that it is willing to discuss all issues. Government convened an all-party meeting yesterday to ensure smooth functioning of both the houses. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sought cooperation from all political parties to make monsoon session productive. Mr. Modi said government gives huge importance to the issues raised by all political parties and urged them to collectively strive for a constructive atmosphere in the monsoon session for national good. This was stated by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar yesterday after the meeting.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी ने बैठक की समापन में संबोधन करते हुए उन्होंने सभी पार्टियों से खास करके विपक्ष से निवेदन किया हम ये वर्षाकालीन सत्र को बहुत सुचारू रूप से चलाएं और उसको सार्थक बनाएं क्योंकि पूरा देश की जनता की उम्मीद है और अपेक्षा है सत्र चले और सत्र में चर्चा हो.
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan and Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu also chaired 2 separate all-party meetings to ensure smooth functioning of both the houses. BJP parliamentary party's executive also met for a strategy meet in the library building of Parliament. The monsoon session, which will conclude on the 10th of August, will have 18 sittings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with citizens from villages that have been electrified in the last 4 years through video conferencing tomorrow. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, even after 70 years of independence, these villages were in the dark and his government had the honor of lighting them up and give wings to the aspirations of several citizens. People can join the program through the Narendra Modi mobile app and can watch it live on DD News. Prime Minister's scheduled visit to Gujarat on Friday has been postponed due to heavy rain in several parts of the state. Talking to reporters in Veerawal town in Gir Somnath district, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani said the Prime Minister has decided to postpone his visit so that the relief and rescue work in Valsad and Junagadh districts, which are badly affected by incessant rain, does not get disturbed. Mr. Rupani said the Prime Minister's office is in touch with the state government regarding the situation arising out of the continuous rain in the state. Minister of Steel Chaudhry Birendra Singh has agreed to the proposal for introducing the pension scheme for the employees under its various central public sector enterprises, CPSEs. The agreement was reached after a detailed consultation between the ministry and representatives of employees' union and officers' associations belonging to different PSUs under the ministry. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has notified draft amendments to the Central Motor Vehicles Rules, making FASTags and Vehicle Tracking System device mandatory for all commercial vehicles obtaining national permit. The proposed amendment also provides that driving license and pollution under control certificates can be carried in physical or digital form. The ministry has invited suggestions and objections to the proposed amendments by the 11th of next month this year. The Centre has increased the maximum load carrying capacity of heavy vehicles, including trucks, by 20 to 25%. Speaking to media in New Delhi yesterday, Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari said, now India is on par with international freight carrying norms for transport vehicles. He said the decision will also bring down overloading as well as pollution level. He said it is a reform for ease of doing business and the consumer will be benefited from it. Providing free LPG gas connection through Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has improved the life tremendously in the tribal hamlets of Idukki district in Kerala. Here's a ground report from a correspondent.
Many tribal villages including Tankudi, Chembakatolukudi, Komalikudi, etc. in Idukki were extremely benefited by Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. The free gas connection was given to poor families with special consideration to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe groups. The gas connection improved the life of the tribals who depend on firewood for cooking, and the firewood collection from dense forest affected their livelihood as they were left with no time for other work. Let's hear from Raji, a teacher in Egatyabaka Vidyalayam or alternative school in Idukki, about how this scheme helped to improve the life of the tribals in the region.
I am Raji, working as an MGLC teacher in 19 years. It is a pure tribal colony named Komalikudi. Scheme of Prime Minister Ujjwala Yojana very helpful for them for food preparation. Usually they are collecting firewood from forest every day. It is a routine process. It is very difficult to them, so they cannot take any other job. This is a very disastrous consequences for their life, so they are in very poor condition. But they have enough time to spend their job due to the gas connection. Now they are very happy to got the gas connection. All of them say thanks to the Prime Minister.
Around 8,000 gas connections were distributed under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana in this region. The usage of gas connection has not only helped the tribals to find time to do other income generating works, but is also expected to improve their health. This is Mayusha with reports from Anthony Munira for AR News from Idukki.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Election Commission has rejected a plea by Aam Aadmi Party MLAs to cross-examine a petitioner who sought their disqualification on the charge of holding office of profit. In its order, the poll panel said it does not find merit in AAP MLA's plea to cross-examine petitioner Prashant Patel to prove that they were not holding any office of profit. An advocate, Patel had claimed that by being parliamentary secretaries, 21 AAP lawmakers held the office of profit and are liable for being disqualified as MLAs of the Delhi Assembly. One of the MLAs had later resigned. Congress President Rahul Gandhi has constituted the Congress Working Committee, the party's highest decision-making body. The new CWC includes 23 members, 18 permanent invitees and 10 special invitees. Senior party leaders Digvijay Singh, Janardhan Dwivedi, Kamal Nath, Sushil Kumar Shinde, Mohan Prakash, C.P. Joshi have been dropped from the CWC. Jammu and Kashmir government has abolished interviews for Class 4 posts in the state, and the selection will now be based on the merit secured in the written examination. An official spokesperson said State Administrative Council (SEC), which met in Srinagar yesterday under the chairmanship of Governor N.N. Vora, abolished interviews for all Class 4 posts. He said the decision will come into effect immediately, except for those posts for which selection process has already been initiated. Uttar Pradesh government has doubled house rent allowances (HRA) and city compensatory allowances (CCA) for state government employees. The decision was taken at a cabinet meeting in Lucknow yesterday, which was chaired by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Our correspondent has filed this report.
As per cabinet decision, state government employees will get 2 times more house rent allowance and city compensatory allowance in the comparison of the rates fixed in 2008. State government employees get fixed HRA and CCA. It will be payable from this month. The cabinet has taken a decision on the recommendations of the GB Patnaik and Brinda Swarup committees set up by the state government on the allowances to the state government employees and teachers to implement 7th Pay Commission report. 15 lakhs government employees, teachers and non-teaching staff will be benefited, and about 2,400 crore rupees will be financial burden on the public exchequer. Sunil Shukla, AIR News, Lucknow.
Rescue and relief operations are underway in full swing at Greater Noida, where a 6-storied under-construction building collapsed last night. 3 bodies have been recovered by the rescuers so far. Several appear trapped under the debris at Shahaberi village. An adjacent building has also been damaged. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed the Gautam Budh Nagar District Magistrate and the police to monitor relief and rescue activities. India's ambassador to UAE, Navdeep Suri, has urged the Indian nationals who are staying in UAE illegally or those who have stayed beyond the visa period to take advantage of this amnesty window to either regularize their stay or better leave the country. The UAE has announced that it will grant a 3-month general amnesty starting from 1st of August to 31st of October 2018 to foreign violators of the country's residency laws. In its interaction with the media in Dubai, the Indian ambassador said that the embassy is in touch with the concerned authorities in UAE to get the detailed information.
We are in touch with the relevant authorities in UAE. We are trying to get detailed information about the exact guidelines, the exact protocols and systems that are going to be followed. And as soon as we are able to obtain those, we will circulate them very widely so that each and every Indian needs this amnesty, is aware of it and is able to take advantage of it.
In cricket, England clinched the 3-match series, defeating India in the 3rd and final ODI by 8 wickets at Leeds last night. The hosts overhauled the target of 257 runs in 44.3 overs, losing only 2 wickets. The 5-match test series between India and England will begin from the 1st of next month at Birmingham. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Anuja Kumar.
Thank you, Abhishek. The Supreme Court saying that horrendous acts of mobocracy cannot be allowed to overrun the law of land and asked Parliament to consider enacting a new law to sternly deal with vigilantism is the story that dominates headlines this morning. Deal with lynching and end mobocracy, leads DNA. In another story, DNA writes, Raga forms new CWC, drops Motormouth, Diggy and others. Many veterans out of Rahul's young CWC, notes the Tribune, adding no place for Digvijay, Janardhan, CP Joshi. Mayawati boots out key aid for anti-Raga rant, informs the Pioneer, adding, Prakash Singh claimed Congress chief not a PM material and looks more like his mother, a foreigner. Referring to well-known social activist Swami Agnivesh, who was beaten up by a mob in Pakur district of Jharkhand, The Hindu writes, Swami Agnivesh attacked in Jharkhand, assaulted outside hotel by protesters. And finally, in a strange story, the Times of India explains why staying in a bad mood is good. The paper says that a study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences has found that being in a bad mood can actually help some people's executive functioning, such as their ability to focus attention, manage time, and prioritize tasks. And with that, it's back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Anuja, for a look at today's newspapers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Monsoon session of Parliament begins today. Triple Talaq Bill and the Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill giving constitutional status to National Commission for Backward Classes high on government's agenda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks cooperation from all political parties to make the session productive. Election Commission rejects AAP MLA's plea to cross-examine petitioner in Office of Profit case. Jammu and Kashmir government abolishes interviews for all Class 4 jobs. Indian Embassy urges Indian nationals to take advantage of 3 months amnesty window to legalize their status or leave UAE without prosecution. And in cricket, England clinches 3-match series 2-1, beating India by 8 wickets in the final ODI at Leeds. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.